If elected as President of the United States of America, I promise to look into and take action to remove the culture of jailing people, which gives the world the perception that the U.S. is the world's leading jailer. It appears from the Human Rights Watch report that selective sentencing is still largely practiced in our country. What do you think, Senator McCain? Yes, Senator Obama. The Human Rights Watch report makes our beloved country look uncivilized. Senator Obama, you mentioned the issue of selective sentencing. Have you heard of someone receiving a jail sentence of 52.5 years without parole in the United States of America? What? 52.5 years? Where was this? In my own state of Arizona, I heard the case of Anand Kumar Tripathi. I do not remember the details. Yes, I remember that name. Oh yes, I remember receiving some email and correspondence from his family asking me to intervene and help release him from prison. Me too. I remember receiving an email as well. What disturbed me most was that the state of Arizona judges and state officials deliberately fabricated and falsified evidence to put AKT behind bars. I wish I had the details of AKT's case because I believe that his case is relevant to issues such as selective sentencing and human rights abuse in the USA. We need a healthy debate and take action to remove such negative perceptions about our beloved country. We need a cultural change to keep separate and independent our legislature, judiciary, and government. In this way, corruption by judges and state officials will be removed. What do you think, Senator Obama? Yes, Senator McCain. The existence of corruption in a democracy like ours should not be tolerated, and in order to overcome the issue of corruption in our beloved country, we must resolve individual cases like that of AKT. Do you agree, Senator McCain? Let us have a bipartisan approach and not play politics with issues of human rights. Therefore, I am in agreement with you, Senator Obama. Well, Senator McCain and Senator Obama, here are some documents proving how the judges and state officials in the state of Arizona are corrupt and give the USA a bad name. AKT has already spent 16 years in prison in Arizona. He has another 36 to serve. He did not commit any murder, rape, drug offense, or any other crime. 52.5 years sounds like we're living in a dictatorship. All AKT did whilst working for his firm, Legal Research Associates, he learned of and gathered enough documentation of evidence to show that the Maricopa County Attorney's Office engaged in an ongoing practice of arresting and targeting for prosecution people of color who are racial minorities, not wealthy, and those who challenge these practices in Maricopa County. A cause is deemed to be unpopular. How can this happen in modern USA, Senator McCain and Senator Obama? It appears from the documents that judges and state officials in Arizona are ganging up to keep AKT in prison for a long time in order to protect their corrupt practices. Read the statements made by the judges in the Arizona Supreme Court weekly meetings.
We have received more petitions from AKT. All of these petitions again show evidence of falsification of evidence by the state. We want AKT to die in prison to protect our own interests. Why did the county attorney and attorney general staff not play by the law and rules?
I promise Ron Reinstein, Jonathan will never review any claims made by AKT. We need to protect these judges. I agree. We must not order discovery or hearings in AKT's cases. If hearings are held, these judges, the lawyers for the state, and prosecutors will have their careers ruined. We can sacrifice AKT to protect our own people and legal fraternity from being ruined or jailed.
Since 1992, AKT has been consistently demonstrating to this court that the charges against him were manufactured by the state. If he succeeds, then we are in trouble and will be held accountable. We want AKT in prison until the year 2044. Under no set of circumstances must AKT receive any relief. Judges Sheldon, John, Maurice, Ann, and I have promised Judges Ron Reinstein, Jonathan Schwartz, Gregory Martin, and Michael O'Melia that we will not grant AKT any relief. Before Judge Michael Ryan, Ruth McGregor, and Rebecca White Birch left this court for the Supreme Court, we promised them that AKT will never get any hearings. Judges Jefferson, Langford, James Soult, and others have kept their word and banded together. So please, when you decide any case involving AKT, make sure your findings are for the state and give AKT no relief.
Ehrlich is correct. If we allow AKT to get hearings, we will ruin the lives of Judges Ron Reinstein, Jonathan Schwartz, Gregory Martin, Michael O'Melia, and others. We will also ruin the careers of Assistant Attorney General Donald Conrad, James Morrow, Michael O'Toole, Kevin Morrissey, Paul Carter, Susanna Pineda, Michael Brodsky, and others. Both Ehrlich and Weisberg are correct. If AKT receives a hearing, he will prove his claims, and the state will be held liable. In order to protect our own, we must not grant any relief to AKT.
The Supreme Court will not grant AKT review because if AKT does prevail, thousands of other people will have to be afforded relief as well. We can sacrifice an innocent person like AKT for the benefit of our fellow colleagues and the state.
All right. We all know and understand that AKT will get no relief. Does anyone disagree?
No one disagrees.
We have a serious challenge to our powers by AKT. He has now obtained additional support from numerous groups. Anne, please inform Judge Foster to make sure any post-conviction relief petition which AKT files is summarily denied. Mark, please do what Anna did when she was the presiding judge. Assign any case AKT files to judges such as Ruth Hilliard, John Buttrick, and Janet Barton. Speak to the judges and ask them to dismiss everything AKT files. We cannot afford AKT any relief at all. Please talk to the judges and make sure no discovery is afforded. I did everything possible and have made sure AKT does not have his day in court. I've spoken to Judge Foster and he will do what it takes. You should not be concerned. As presiding judge, I will make certain AKT does not get a hearing.
I will continue to do what Anna did. My judges on the civil bench will not give AKT any hearings.
Both Judge Thomas O'Toole and I have made certain AKT's previous petitions were dismissed when I was in the criminal division.
Judge Ruth Hilliard and I have blocked AKT's claims regarding clemency. We spoke to Judge Ron Reinstein, Gregory Martin, and Jonathan Schwartz before blocking AKT's clemency.
Before I made any decision in AKT's case, the case was transferred to Judge McNally.
I spoke to Judge Edward Buttrick and Ronald Gregory Martin about AKT. When I received AKT's motion for summary judgment and motions to compel, I called and spoke to Kelly Morrissey and Terry Stewart also. Because of the possibility that my decision would have ruined members of this court and exposed the practice of using false evidence, I granted summary judgment for the state. AKT challenged my decision. Judge Burris, Ron Reinstein, Jonathan Schwartz, and I spoke to Judge Michael O'Melia. He agreed to uphold my decision and did just that. I do not think this issue will go away.
It appears from the information provided that the state of Arizona is hell-bent in destroying AKT so that their own deeds are covered up and not exposed to the general public. It is a pity that this is happening in the state which I represent in the Senate. Let us take a bipartisan approach and explore the need to change the laws so that innocent people like AKT are not incarcerated.